Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. So we're going to talk about the Bitcoin halving and how the time of the move up on the Bitcoin halving can affect future markets and timelines. Now, for those of you that have been paying attention, you know that the Bitcoin halving has kind of been moved up from roughly May of 2024 to December of 2023, pending the block times. Now, the Bitcoin halving has never been dependent on a certain date. It always has been dependent on a certain block, and that depends on the block interval. Now, it's calculated generally with a block interval being 10 minutes, but with a rising hash rate, that block interval has been pushed up to 7.6 minutes, which means it pushes up the Bitcoin halving possibly a whole 5 months. So right now, if it maintains this block interval, you're going to get December 2023 rather than May 2024, and that will have kind of an effect if you actually look at the macro economy. We know that according to the last cycle, Bitcoin had a mini pump roughly about 10 months maybe before the halving, 9-10 months before the halving, and then a major pump maybe roughly, I would say, half a year after the halving, half a year, maybe 8 months after the halving that pump started. So if we actually look at that, there should be a mini pump roughly around February, and that could pump to 40,000-50,000. Now, I personally don't think that one might not happen because of the macro factors. I mean, we are in a recession. Despite what the Fed say, we're not in a recession. We are actually in a recession, and I don't think the landing is going to be soft. The Fed is probably not going to pivot until later next year, according to Jerome Powell. Now, that might push the mini pump back to around June, and maybe like in the June to August area, we'll see about 40,000-50,000, and then we'll probably go back down towards the end of next year as the halving approaches. And then in 2024, maybe like I would say mid-2024, that could be when we really, really start to surge up. Now, I think like if we stuck to the original timeline, you'd actually have a mini pump probably roughly like in July, August of next year. And then, towards the end of 2024, you'd really see the Bitcoin market surge up into 2025. But now I think that's been moved up maybe like 5 months. And it does go pretty well with a macroeconomic cycle because the major pump you see could actually happen like mid 2024. And by mid 2024, I think the recession and the inflation will be mostly behind us and the economy will be revved up again. I think the COVID supply chain problems will go away and the Russian war should definitely be dying down by that point because they can't really stay at war forever. I guess they could do something like North Korea and the sanctions could stay in place in a worst case scenario. But I think like economically, like at that point, Russia just can't keep selling to just China and India. I don't think they can actually like take all the demand of oil. And since the Kremlin is basically completely dependent on the revenue from oil to actually fund itself, they'll probably want some kind of solution sooner than that. So the thing is, like, that actually works out pretty well. Instead of like late 2024 into 2025 for the next major bull run, you're looking at probably like mid 2024 into late 2024, maybe climaxing towards the end of 2024, beginning of 2025 as the next high. Now, I do think it'll surpass 100K, maybe around 120K or so. And I do actually think the next pump will be just as good, if not better, than the last one in 2020, 2021, because that one got short-circuited by inflationary concerns and massive printing due to COVID. I do not actually think the next one will have the same problem. So that's kind of like my projections based on the new Bitcoin halving time. So let me know what you think, like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.